Hey Gabby, Bob here. It was really awesome to chat with you and Megan today about um, the customer question that we had. We have a customer that's got some on-prem data sources, so they've got on-prem MCM. They've also got BigFix. They've got Absolute. I assume that's in the cloud, and they've got JAMF, I think, also in the cloud. So I'm going over the pricing calculator, and basically I'm going to give you kind of what I would call the safety approach, um, and then the sort of maybe slightly less safe. So I'm at the pricing calculator, and I went into the storage account. And so we just start with blob storage, and I'm going to go East US, and I'm going to go to Data Lake Storage Gen 2. By the way, I'm going to go on this first quote with premium everything because this is a very actually small, uh, uh, and I went zone redundant storage, hierarchical namespace. But the customer said they had 2 gigs. I'm just going to go ahead and say like 10 gigs or maybe even 50 gigs to give them lots of room because it just doesn't change the price at all. This is very small load. Um, I just took the defaults for read-write operations because this is a super small amount. And I always include developer support because it might be the best $29 program that you can have. And this I'm just going to save as Gabby, how about a G? Gabby, this is just blob storage. It turns out, though, that's probably not mostly going to solve the problem because mostly what they need, and the question is, do they need a SQL database or a managed instance? So if they have these 4 different data types, let's go with managed SQL managed instance. So if they have 4 different data types, the managed instance view is probably going to be a better deal for them. So I've got the storage account here, and we saw the whole cost for the storage account was $50 a month. Again, we're going to do West US because I think that would be appropriate for the customer. I'm doing zone redundant storage, and I'm doing general purpose instead of business critical. Single instance, Gen 5 storage, Gen 5 instance, and I'm going to take it down to 4 cores. Honestly, they probably need 2 cores. And the one thing to note is if we do pay as you go, it's $780 a month. If we did 3-year reserved, that would take it down to $500 a month. But I'm going to go as pay as you go because I don't know. The other thing is this assumes that they're using it 100% of the time for 730 hours or 1 per month, which seems unlikely. We're going to do 1 instance. We're going to do the default storage because they only have a 2 gig instance. I'm going to say go ahead and back up 10 gigs a month because it's super cheap. We'll say the average retention period I'm just going to say is 20 gigs. And we're going to do monthly retention for 6 months. Okay, so as you can see, the total cost here for the storage, the blob storage, right, the data lake, and for the managed instance, $874. And then I'm going to add one more here, and I'm going to go to just Azure or SQL. And by the way, if they're doing this, then, and just to show you what I did here, so you can, so maybe it's a little bit easier to see. Now, if we just did same West US, I'm going to say single database because I assume that we're going to combine these here. We're doing general purpose, we're going to do provisioned, we're going to do Gen 5 hardware, and again, 4 cores. Local redundancy, again, if I do local, that saves me about $300 here, your call. Again, if I did 3-year reserved instance, that again saves a fair amount of money, but you had asked for kind of both options. So, and I think we said for storage, going to do the same thing. We'll do like 10 gigs, maybe 20 gigs for, yeah, again, these are wildly overbuilt numbers because I don't really know what the problem is we're trying to solve. But you can see that if you, um, depending on how you looked at this, and this is the best way to look at this estimate, by the way, is right here. So looking at my assumptions, you've got basically whichever way you do it, storage is $50, and SQL Server is about, let's call it $800. I think, by the way, chances are really, really good that they would only be using it for, say, 300 hours a month. And in that case, it would take it from like 700 to about 300 a month. So again, not perfect, but as we know more, love to help you more. The other thing is we haven't talked about Power BI because Power BI is a more complex topic and probably should be handled by someone who knows it better. But shout out to you and Megan for a good learning session. I hope that was useful. Thanks, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.